So, hey guys, it's time to continue with the next round. So, now we have this application that we can add or create new posts or new items. I need to change that. So, what we're going to do now is to get the items and get a single item. So, let me get this. So, let me okay. Right now, with this index, we are just returning JSON with this data object and just saying something. Okay, so let me move my things over here. So let's now return the information we have. What we're going to do now is create this new dictionary or array, or I can't remember the name. So now we're going to get all the elements or the items saying or creating a new cursor and calling the collection with the find method and just a single empty object. This will return us all the documents inside this collection, and we need to loop through each document inside this cursor and to our items append the next code. So we need here an object. So let's say we want the ID, and here we're going to use our encoder that will allow us to send that. But let's first just say document ID so you can see what's the problem. Document underscore ID. Let's move with name again and document name. The other one is the image. Document image, and I think that's it. Yep. So this is what we're going to call the ID, the name, and the image. We will see what's going on with this, why we need to use the encoder, and now we are going to return here the, if I can get there, the items that should have or documents appended. So now we need to go to React, to main now, and let's get the information here. So we're going to create this constant with items and set items. The user state is going to be state as an empty array. Okay, now we're going to create a function, or let's make it like this: constant items, get items. You can create a function or something like this. It's going to be the same. Now we're going to fetch the HTTP localhost 5000, that is the Flask server, API and items. Let me go to app.py, no routes, and you can see this is what we're going to get. It should be already added, yes. So let's say no catch, then let me move this down here. We're going to receive a response, and we're going to return the response.json and catch, no, not yet, and then set our items. So this is going to be our items. So we can even console.log those items and use your setter to set items, since we're going to get this data object inside this response that is the items. We're going to call items that data, and that is our documents. So now we catch in case there's an error and just console.log error, just like that. Now we're going to use effect and call or get items function and pass an empty array. Okay, so it cleans up all the information when it's demounted. Also, this allows us to make only one call. Okay, so let me see if we are getting something. We have this data something. Okay, let me close the server and run it again so we can see what we get there. So it's running again. Let's refresh. Okay, so we're getting an unexpected token in JSON at position 0, and we're getting an error here. So let me see if I can find the name. Type error, object of type object ID is not JSON serializable. Okay, so this is the error we're going to face, and you can see what we are getting here also. So that's why, since this is a special object inside Python Flask, we need to encode it. So what we're going to do, okay, let me just get into my routes again on my code. We're going to use the encoder. Remember that we created this first, so we have it there. Now it's time to use the JSON encoder. So this is going to return us a string of this document ID. So let's say JSON encoder that encode, not like this, that encode, and we wrap our document ID inside this. So let's save this, and this should be it. Let's close this. Let's run it again. And let's go back to the browser. And you can see now we get our data of 3 objects. Okay. With the ID, you can see this. Okay. How this is different. So it turns this object into a string, and we receive this kind of, a string inside a string. So these double quotes are in a string mode. So we're going to parse that. Okay, but we need to do that inside React. So let's go now with our main and continue with this. So you can see how we're going to handle that. I'm just checking my code. Okay, main. So now it's time to return our information. So what we're going to do, okay, let's keep moving with this. We're going to create this let items. I'm just going to copy and paste all this let items array. So this is going to be the array of our items. So we're going to create an if else. to display something. So if our length, if our items length that our items is this one, okay, if our items length is more than 0, meaning that or bigger than, sorry, meaning that items respond with something, okay, that we have at least one object inside our response, then we're going to set, let's say that items array is going to be equals to, okay, yeah, let me just copy all that because this is just sorry, it's not here, this is just pure React. So our items array is going to be a div with class name items, and inside that we're going to map and get our keys, no, and you can see the properties here. Sorry, I can't fucking speak. And yeah, this is going to set everything. Else we're just going to return a message. You can do whatever you want, return a picture or something. Okay, of class name message, a div, and saying no items in the database. Let me just one more space in there. And of course, we're going to append something inside our main fragment that is going to be our header, and inside this is our items array. So if we have something, we're going to return the items, and if not, only a message. Okay, let's save this and let's return. So why we cannot see the image here? Because we don't have any height on that. So I'm just going to copy all the index CSS, because this is just, you know, it's not a big deal. And let's go to index CSS and paste all that, save it, and you can see we have our items. So that's why, because it was a div and it didn't have the height. And also let me go to my public and index here and copy my fonts. This is just for, you know, for the looks, and let's paste it down here. So it's Roboto, and you can see now we have this nicer font. It looks a little bit better. With the styling, you can see the form, we already had that. Okay. And now what we need to do is that when we click this, you can see how this is getting, because those quotes or those double quotes, I can fucking speak, are stringified. Okay, so it turns everything into a string, and we could return or try to do it with Python, but since it's going to be used here and we shouldn't bother about that inside our Python or Flask application, inside this encoding, we shouldn't care about this here. We're going to care about removing those quotes inside our React application. So this is going to be the item. This has quite a lot of code. So what we're going to do is first create our route, the new route we're going to use, that is going to handle only a single item. So let me go to routes, and where I'm going to place it, create down here, I think. Okay, so but first we need to create our blueprint. So this is going to be, just let me get the naming right, item, no, I can type item route. is going to be a new blueprint with the name item, and that's it. So now we're going to create a new route for that item route, and let's say a API items, define this items function, and inside this, okay, I was checking the wrong route. Okay, now. So we're going to expect here an ID, and now remember that we need to pass the ID here that the route is going to use. So we can also print the request JSON and flush true with a capital T and create our object. Not create our object, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to say that today is Monday. I recorded the other parts in Friday, so yeah. Sorry for the. Okay. So this is not it. Sorry, I was checking the wrong one. That was the create. But what we're going to do here now is to create a cursor. Sorry about that. So collection that find, we need to find one. You can see the function there using the ID. So right now this is not going to work because we don't have, in case we send the ID, you can see the ID is going to be sent with these double quotes, okay? And we don't have that as an ID. So object ID, so we need to pass this object ID function, okay? To create the object ID is like parsing what we are getting here so Mongo can read it, okay? So we need to do that. Now we can here print the cursor. That is the item that we are going to find, cursor, and flush now true, and we can return the JSONify data and Json encoder that encode the cursor. Okay, we need to do this because it's going to come with the ID, so it's going to return the same problem that is not serializable. So we need to wrap our cursor, okay, again because it has the ID, so it can return to React without any problem. So okay, now we can work on a route or item route. So let's go now. Okay, let me first do this. So we need to go to the item. Let me close the other one because it's, and we don't have the item. Okay, we do have it. So it doesn't have anything yet. Sorry if I can't speak. So we're going to copy this. I tend to speak or try to speak faster than I can. You know, my tongue gets so that's why it sounds like I cannot speak. So item, this is going to be our class or another or class or component, sorry. So this is going to be export default, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, export default item, so we can have that. And let's define some things over here. I'm just going to copy them. So this is going to be the item that responds. We're going to need this item ID and the edit mode. Why the edit mode? Because we want a button that toggles between showing a form and hiding that same form. Okay, so we need those. And now we're going to get something else that is the redirect and the product name, description, price, and image. We could set this all inside an object, but let's just keep them, like this, so we can see what's going on. And now we are not returning anything, so let's actually return just something quick. So let's say return. Okay, a React fragment. And let's return just something so we can see that we are getting something, just like that. Something. Save this. And okay, why I'm not getting that? Let's go to routes. Okay, we don't have that route. Okay, it's down here, so let's copy this and paste it. So now we have the, it's odd that it works, that it redirects, because Angular doesn't do this. It shows you that you don't have any route that can handle this. So it's funny that React doesn't care about that and just shows the route, but since there is nothing bind, it doesn't show. It just showed a empty template. So that's funny. Okay, so now we have all our routes. We can close this, and we're returning this little thing, something, so we can see that we are indeed getting the correct component. So now we're going to create a new function that is going to return us. So this is something I'm going to type. Okay, constant. I like to create my functions like this. Get item. Okay, and we're going to say let ID to props that match that params that ID. So this is our ID that is coming from the URL. Okay, if you want a React course, I'm having a little React. Yeah, I'm creating, sorry, a little React course with Firebase. Okay, and authentication is something like the one I have on the channel with React Redux. So I'm planning to do, well, I'm doing that React Redux, and I'm planning to create something just with React and Firebase. Okay, so it's React Redux and Firebase, also authentication, and the other one is just going to be something fast with React Redux. So if you're going to build something bigger, I think it's just, sorry, I got messed up there. It's React Redux and authentication and Firebase, Firestore, and the other one is going to be React and Firestore, just like that. Okay, so wait for those if you want something, a project to build with React. Okay, that I'm going to show all this crap. So just wanted to say that because I'm preparing that, and I should have those this week. So okay, after all that fucking shit, let's continue. So we need to clean the ID. So remember that again, so you don't forget. This ID comes from Flask with this double quote. So we're not doing anything here. It's coming like this because we use our encode class. Okay, So we need to do something fast here that is going to replace the it's not like this, it's like this. And let me plus this. So it's going to replace all the quotes and remove them. Okay, it's going to replace it with this kind of empty space. Okay, it's not going to add any quotes because here we're just saying replace it with something that in this case is just nothing. So we set the ID we have, the ID, not the IT, item ID. We set the item ID to this clean ID. Okay, we can do it like this, or we can just set it inside a constant or a variable, whatever suits you. And now we are going to fetch using, let me just get this. I can fucking speak today. Well, most of the days I can fucking speak, but, and we append to this or clean ID. Then we're going to receive a response, and that response we are going to return that in JSON format. And then we're going to receive another response, so we can just have it like this and say let parsed response equals to JSON. That parse we're going to need to parse, because remember, it's this one, okay, routes. We're going to encode this, so it's going to turn everything into a string. Okay, why? Because we have the ID, and this is returning everything with the ID that is not, we can serialize that. Okay, so instead of doing some funky shit or trying to deconstruct something, we are just going to return everything that is this cursor, that is the item or the document, wrapped inside quotes. Okay, so we're going to return a string version of that document. So now we need to parse the response, that data, not that date, that data that we are getting here. So this data, we need to parse that into JSON so we can use it inside Angular. So we're going to say set item. Well, let me just set item, the whole item, because we're going to need this. So this is the whole item, set item, okay, into this parse response that is the entire document. Sorry, this is not it, this is rest, that data, I'm using rest there. And now for the form, we're going to get each individual part, the name, the description, the amount, that is the price, and the image. Okay, so this is that we need this for the form, and we need this whole item to display the information. Okay, so we're doing this kind of two parts. You can do it however you want. This is easier because you have all the things there. And after all this, we catch in case there's an error. I just console it, you know, the easy thing. And we need to use effect. use effect like this and call our function that is get item, and also pass an empty, well, not like that. What the okay. So we need to pass this get item and the empty array or empty object in case you want. So that should return us the document. So let's copy and paste this. This is just getting the document. Okay, this is just React using the different things we have. So this item is this item. Okay, so let me save that. Okay, props is not added yet. We need to add props here. Forgot to add that. And it's going to complain because we don't have this edit item. So let me just get that. Where is it? Okay, let me just Control F, edit. What it says? Did I save this? Save. Edit item line 51. Okay, let me see. Edit item. Oh, because it's the edit mode. Okay, that is what I'm looking for. Okay. Let me just copy that because it's a simple function. Okay, so we yet don't have the form, but this edit item, what it's going to do is when we click this button with class name edit, it's going to turn or toggle the edit mode. Okay, so let's save this and let's see how it goes. Okay, unexpected token. Let's see again. Again, unexpected token. So this should be returning from. So this error should be here. Collection find one, added, object ID. Let me get to my routes on the code that I have that I know is working. So this one is the item route, item ID, cursor, collection find one, underscore ID, object ID, the ID. You can see here that we have a problem, so it's like this, sorry. It's the same function we use here. I forgot to add those two. Let me save that. Let me do this. And we should get our information. So it says why Json Encoder encode. So let me copy all this, and maybe I typed something wrong. Nope. Then why is this problem? So maybe we are facing a problem. API item not found. This is what it says. Okay. An error inside the item. It should be item, not items. So maybe that's it. So all the code we already had should work. Okay, so again it says API item not found. So we have the correct API item ID. Okay, let me see if adding the methods equals get. So let me close this. Seems to be complaining that this is okay. So let's move now to React. Maybe I did something wrong with React. So let me close all this crap. Index CSS. So it's the main. Let me close this. No, sorry, it's the item. Localhost 5000. ID replace. Let me go to main to see if that is main item. So it says that this is not it. So let me copy that line and paste it, save it, and let's go to here and here, item.js story 3. So I think I'm going to code this and check it. So this is the console error that we're getting. So this is odd. So my last try is going to be copy this function and just to see if this is this function the problem. So that's what I need to check. Okay, so there's a no, that's the okay. So I think I'm going to code this and add the fix so I can see what's going on, and I will have to edit this. So just wait.